Most of the borders you see today weren't drawn by countries. They were negotiated. In rooms, by people who had never even been to the places they were dividing. For most of human history, borders weren't sharp lines on a map. They were fuzzy zones of influence, natural barriers like rivers and mountains, or sometimes nothing at all. This all changed when wars became too expensive to fight endlessly and maps became powerful weapons. Suddenly, borders transformed from natural realities into legal agreements, drawn up far from the people they would affect. The process was surprisingly clinical. First, diplomats would negotiate power, deciding who gets what. This stage was called negotiation. Then, cartographers would take those political decisions and draw precise lines on a map, a step known as delimitation. Only much later, sometimes years later, would those lines be marked on the actual ground through fences, posts, or patrols. This is called demarcation. It was a top-down process where the map came first, and reality was forced to fit it. History is filled with examples of these border-drawing meetings. The Congress of Vienna in 1815 rebuilt the map of Europe after Napoleon's defeat, setting the stage for the next century. Then, the Berlin Conference of 1884 established the rules for European powers to carve up the entire continent of Africa, often with straight lines that cut directly through ethnic and cultural groups. After World War I, the Paris Peace Conference of 1919 redrew the maps of Europe and the Middle East, dissolving old empires and creating new nations. Entire continents were reshaped, often without any local representation at the table. These meetings didn't just end wars. In many cases, they created the seeds for future ones. So why do these often arbitrary borders still matter so much today? Many modern conflicts exist precisely because these lines were negotiated for the stability of distant empires, not for the people living there. When these colonies gained independence, most new countries chose to keep the colonial borders. This principle, known as uti possidetis, was adopted not because the borders were fair, but because the alternative renegotiating everything was seen as a path to even greater chaos and endless war. The borders were a flawed inheritance, but one they were stuck with. Borders feel permanent, solid, and immovable. But every single one of them is a political compromise, frozen in time by a treaty signed long ago. They are a snapshot of a power balance that once existed. And the next time the world's borders change, you can be sure of one thing: they'll be negotiated all over again. Subscribe for more hidden geography.